Hey everyone, it's Zach with Palantir Research. Palantir closes out strong with new deals, shorts covering, and more news. So looking at the stock first, the stock closed out the last day of trading for 2023 down 2.22% and the week around 3%. So that means we're going into 2024 with this price of $17.17, meaning the final year-to-date percentage for 2023 is 168.7%, and the New Year's 2024 year-to-date percentages will be based on this price. So overall, I'm not sure who would have had fully predicted Palantir would be here at the end of 2023, but taking this longer-term look for a year is very nice, although some would argue if they bought at all-time highs, not so much. Now, news-wise, we started off with talking about Palantir's mix with commercial versus government revenue. As we've seen over time the past 2 years, the quarterly mix has actually been maintained with a 45 to 55% split. Although you can argue commercial technically grew a couple percentages more at 43% over 2 years versus 41% for government over those last 2 years. I don't believe this trend will stay the same, but can be offset by large government contracts if those were to flow in. But hopefully AIP bootcamps can convert into revenue-generating customers, and we see this accelerate and shift the tide towards 50-50. Then also, the UK's official government contract website updated it with the NHS FTP contract, which has Palantir named as the awardee. You'll see here it does show a £180 million award, but note in the description this states it can be upwards of £330 million. So it may just be the initial period of money that's available since the contract dates are only for 3.5 years versus a full 7. And they note this contract is awarded as services are provided. So in the end, not even this £180 million is guaranteed, but at least Palantir has the opportunity to actually implement and prove themselves at scale at the NHS, and hopefully this can lead to more contracts branching from the FTP. And then Palantir gets a juicy 6-year deal for an international commercial client out in Spain. Mutua Madrilena is a large insurer out in Spain that covers life to auto as well as investments and pensions. Now for some background, EtherSquare actually posted these links way early in 2023, so the pilot period appears to have finished and Mutua Madrilena was happy enough to move forward and sign a long-term deal with Palantir. Unfortunately, we don't have a dollar amount here specifically, but it was noted in the article that Mutua has been investing 200 million euros into improving their technology, so Palantir may be getting a piece of that pie from this allocation. And then we get a new short interest data, which is shown further shorts covering with positions down 10% from the last measurement. The total float shorted right now is 5.95%, so the trend in the right direction for those who were worried about downwards pressure from those selling and making short positions. Now, it doesn't mean this can't shift, and plus this data is always delayed by a couple weeks, so this is more informational than actionable in my opinion, but I'll continue to track this. Then we also had Kathy Wood selling around 100,000 Palantir shares on Wednesday from her ARK-W fund. It's not significant to me personally on the size, so I see it more as a rebalancing rather than actual sell signal, but you never really know with Kathy, so just take that information as you please. And then lastly, I posted a recap of the more monumental moments in 2023 in my opinion. There were plenty, but I wanted to point out the 5 biggest that came to mind first, which are the S&P inclusion and hitting those requirements that will allow them to be included sometime in 2024, most likely since they hit 4 quarters of GAAP profitability, making the sum of their last 4 positive as well as their last quarter positive net income. Then we had the introduction of the artificial intelligence platform, which was one of the first enterprise solutions out on the market, and piggybacking off that, their new go-to-market strategy that appears to be doing well, which is AIP bootcamps that appeared later in the year. And then we had the Ukraine Reconstruction Partnership finally getting announced, which shows after basically a year of work on the military side and working with the government closely as well as on the targeting, we get an inkling of future endeavors in the country. And then lastly, the awarding of the NHS FTP contract finally officially going to Palantir, although they still have to prove themselves it looks like, and they finally get a real opportunity to showcase to other countries and their health systems around the world that their capabilities are for a large and extensive healthcare system like the NHS in the UK can actually work. But thank you for watching the last weekly Palantir video for 2023, and I'll see you in the next one in 2024.